Hi there. Want to add maximum impact to your project? Come join me and I'll show you a fun way to create it using subtle layering featuring the new Build a Garden Tranquil trail. See you in a bit. Hi there and welcome to a new episode of Inspired by a Card with Natalie. Today we're going to be working with the new Build a Garden Tranquil trail to create this project. And it's actually a fun way. I love the movement of this design. I love the layers, and I found this card by Martin Stone from the latest. I think he did the block hop and I really enjoyed the look of it. It's kind of on a single tone. There's a lot of layers, so I thought about adding layers in a different way based on this card to my memory keeping layout, and we're working on a 6x8 project today. So we're going to start by creating the images. So I am using white cardstock for my base, and I'm going to use my stamp wheel so I can create two of those flowers in one single shot. I am using Obsidian ink to stamp the image. So you're going to see I'm going to do one, I'm going to lift it up, move the paper, switch the paper to the opposite side, and stamp the second one. And I love having the stamp wheel for this because it just makes it super easy to create those large images in one single stamping platform. Once I have that, I'm going to let it set for a little bit so it dries completely, and then I'm going to start working. When I look at Martin's card, he used like a tone on tone. He went really subtle with the coloring. He actually used artist markers to color his. I am going to take advantage of the stencil for that. So I'm going to start with picking up colors based on the pictures that I have. So the closest that I can meet it was mint chalk and also pool. So I'm going to start with mint chalk, and I'm going to take advantage of the stencil that comes in this set to add subtle color for my layout. Now here's the difference. When Martin created his card or his little flower wreath, he used the same tone of cardstock as the background. I'm going the opposite way. So I started with white ink, and then he added his artist markers to it to color. I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm starting with white cardstock, so I need to give my flowers a base of color. So I'm using mint chalk. This is from the Aqua Island Fresh Dye ink set, just to create a subtle base for my flowers. So I'm taking a stencil number 1, which is the one that adds the color to the flowers, just to make sure that like I said, I'm adding a base of color to all the flowers in this little I'm gonna call it just like a little delicate wreath of flowers. Once I have that, I'm gonna take advantage of a stencil 2, and I'm gonna go to a darker color in this set. This is pool, so it's gonna be like this deeper teal, and I'm just gonna go kind of heavy with pressure right on the center of the flower. So I'm just following the stencil. That's gonna bring dimension to the center. In comparison to what Martin did, like I said, he used artist markers. I am not. I am taking advantage of the stencils and inks for mine. So I'm just making sure that I add quite a bit of pressure when I start adding my stencil so that I have that deeper tone. Now I am going to bring my artist markers. I'm bringing the the Secret Garden set. I'm going to use the yellow one just to color the little buds or little centers of the flowers. I just found that it was easier to do it this way, and it's like super fast too, because there's not that many to do, and I'm not gonna go very detailed with it. I just want to make sure that I see a difference. I found that when I do it with the stencil, just because I tend to be a little bit heavy with my hand, it didn't look it looked green, but by using the alcohol marker, it actually helped to go like to a true yellow. So I'm just taking advantage of that for this particular flowers. Once I have that, I'm gonna go ahead and keep using the stencils to color my branches. For this, I am using shades from the Jade Dreams collection. I'm gonna go with Misty Sage to color all the branches and the leaves. There's actually not that many leaves, also it's just branches. So I'm gonna color all of it with Misty Sage, but I'm gonna bring a little bit of green opal, which is the darkest color in this set, just to add a little bit of dimension. And what I'm gonna do is just get the darker color at the juncture of where the stems meet, also in the little parts that holds the flowers, just adding a little bit of shading, so it just adds a little bit of extra detail. Once I have them all colored, I'm gonna take the add-on die. This is the Build a Garden Tranquil Trail add on dye to just cut my branches and have them ready. Now here was the fun part. It's like all about layering today. So I want to find a paper that look the closest to the colors that I have going on. So I'm going to set up for dewdrops from the Cardstock Necessities from Altenew. And then I went looking in my stash, all stash, and I found this piece of vellum that is like a really soft shade of teal. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim as much as I can out of it. I need to pull out 2 panels. They're not gonna be the same size, but I thought they will like still have that look that Martin has of 2 sets of cards, like 2 different panels for my layout, but I want something a little bit more subtle. So once I have that, one of the things that I noticed in Martin's card is that he had like softly stamped tone on tone the same flowers in the back in this little panel. So I'm gonna do the same, but instead of stamping, because I'm using vellum, I'm gonna go ahead and emboss it. So I am using clear embossing ink from Altenew, and I'm also gonna use petal translucent embossing powder because I want to add a little bit of shine. So it's not gonna be so noticeable. It's gonna bring some of the shine, but you're gonna be able to see the image. So once again, I'm taking advantage of the stamp to wheel to stamp my images. I'm gonna use, like I said, petal translucent embossing powder to create it. And once I have it ready, I'm gonna go ahead and set it on my layout. And you're gonna see that my panels are not the same size. One is a little bit longer than the other one, and I'm okay with that because, like I said, subtle. There's going to be a little bit of shine. There's a little bit of subtleness to it. I just want to create the little bit of the separation between the bottom, like the base of the layer in this case, and this and the flowers. So I'm working in levels. I'm working in layering. So different ways of layering in a way. Okay, so I have them ready. You're gonna see that it's gonna be a little bit out of focus. It's because I wanted to show you how I'm gonna cut my flowers. So one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that the size of my background is actually 8 3/4 in height. That means that it's bigger than an A2 card. So I needed to extend that branch. So what I'm gonna do is, out of the 2 ones, I'm gonna cut the bottom part of the flower just to extend the one, because I want to make sure that that branch curls around the top of the page. So that's why you see it fuzzy, because I'm trying to make sure that you see the part that I'm cutting the flowers. Once I have that, I am going to take advantage of my scissors in a way to just trim around some of the flowers. I don't want to hide them. I think that I can use them to just bulk up this. Once I have that, I'm going to set one of the images on the right hand side of the page. You're going to see that I'm creating those panels. I'm creating that dimension by just gluing pieces together. I started with my cardstock, then I have my vellum, then I have my embossing, and then I'm adding the flowers. Now I have my right hand side ready. I'm going to go on the left hand side, and then here again, all I'm doing is using the leftover piece that I have. I thought about creating like a branch that wrapped completely around the page, but because of the movement on the branch, it was a little bit hard. So I thought I'm gonna like just kind of fake it at the top as if a branch is coming down into the page. Simple as that. You're gonna see that whatever pieces that I had left over from the other cuts, I'm gonna work with them so that I can bulk some of the areas in the already branches that are already on the cardstock, on the layout. So simple as that. I'm just playing with some stuff. You're gonna see, like I said, I just added extra pieces that I fussy cut to my page. One of the things that I also enjoyed about Martin is that he added subtle details using some white ink. So I'm using pure white ink from Altenew. I'm just gonna sprinkle it around my page. Just gotta be careful because the vellum tends to like keep it wet a little bit longer than what the cardstock does. So just gotta be careful with that. And then I went ahead and, same as Martin, I'm gonna use sequin. This is some of the new sequins that were just released by Altenew. I am using the iridescent clear ones just to add extra pops of shine throughout my page. Remember, I already have a little bit of shine in the embossing of the background, but I think a little bit more is just going to help it. Now my title, I am going to change it a bit. If you see Martin, he used one of the sentiments from the card and made it like kind of subtle in the background because it's also in the same tone. I am going to go for something a little bit more blocky just to marry the images and the lettering in the images together. So I am using the One Go Strip Sentiments number 2. I'm using the the press plate and the die to just create my sentiment. I'm going to put it underneath the smaller picture, that way it kind of sizes up to the one on the right on the same level, and that's about it. I love how this turned out. It was fun, it was simple, it was super fast to put together, and it's all about layers, creating layers. Even though there's not that much bulk, there is dimension, and I hope you enjoy this. As always, you can find more details on the blog, and if you have any questions, you can always contact me. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hello there! Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Alternate YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye!